I'm not like in love with my order.
I'm not either.
Okay. Okay.
Are we ever?
No, but it's just, I like was doing it like up until like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Still like rearranging stuff.
I make the mistake that I make frequently where I start early, but then that gives me a false sense of security. And then I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show, your new favorite pop culture YouTube channel where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. This is a spoiler show for all of the movies we watched this year, so there will probably be spoils. We will use our discretion, but you have been warned.
I'm going to keep some of them.
We'll use our discretion.
Unspoiled.
I said what I said. This is not the best.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we responded to.
My favorite things of the year.
But even I'm going to even distance myself from that because this is more the things I want to highlight.
Okay.
So I'm not even going to go as far as to say these are my favorite things.
Fair enough.
These are just the things that I want to shine a light on that I went through this year. And since I'm not a huge awards movie person,
I've got some more awardsy stuff on my list.
I've got some very medium things for the medium people. And there's a lot of us.
All the Mindy Sinclairs in the world.
Right? Right.
We're all a lot more Mindy Sinclair than we like to believe.
Did you bring the cocaine I asked for? Please tell me you somehow remembered this time. Mama needs her medicine.
This year, I did wind up with, it's not a top 10, because I have...
Is it 42?
No, but it's more than 20. It's about 25.
Okay, I have 17.
But I have them sort of grouped in a, like... We don't believe really in worst lists, but I do, this year I felt sort of compelled to talk about movies I didn't like or didn't see for specific reasons, because I think there's something to be said about a year in retrospective, including not all. I adore a two-star experience.
Yeah.
It's things that made up this year for me.
Yeah,
and that's sort of where I'm at. Versus ranking the greatness of things. I'm sort of like, this was my year. So, do you have sort of a good, medium, and bad, or are they just in one list?
No, it's mostly I have 10. I have like a top mostly. I'm not comfortable with my rankings.
Come on, let's go.
I'm trying so hard. Okay. But I have like roughly a top 10, and then I have like 7 that I still liked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I am going to start with we usually trade off, and I think by the time we get to the top 10, we will definitely do that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start with my honorable mention, and I think I speak for both of us when I say this. My huge honorable mention of the year is the movie Hereditary.
Oh.
We watched that
We did watch that for the first time this year.
That movie blew my brain tits off the barn doors, clean house down boots, hunty.
Scalped.
Like... I don't know how to, I only was able, because I spent a lot of time with that movie because I had to edit it.
Yeah.
And it took me 2 weeks before I could even bring myself to edit it. The comments about that movie, but even just on our video, we got a comment that said there is a masterful evil at foot in this movie.
Yeah.
I have never been unnerved by a movie the way I was by that movie.
Agreed.
And I have yet to bring myself
to rewatch it.
No, well, because like I said, I had to edit it. So I've seen it forwards and backwards, every which way. And I've watched YouTube videos about it. I've yet to bring myself to purchase it.
I don't. You have to keep it at your house. I don't want it here.
Well, precisely. I like, it had such an impact on me that I want the trophy. But it's like Midsummer's an old friend.
Yeah, but like, that's like a whole... It's such a different vibe.
It's such a different thing.
It's not the same. I like that. So that to go there, I also don't have anything on my list that didn't come out this year.
Okay.
I didn't do like other stuff.
I just that movie had such a profound effect on me that I can't not acknowledge it.
No, that's fair. It was very good too. I just the other day saw the like dinner table scene again, and literally my favorite line from that movie is when she's just like shouting at him, and she's like,
all I do is worry and slave and defend you. And all I get back is that fucking face on your face.
And it's so funny.
It's so relatable.
It's so relatable.
When you're that mad that you can't even... That's up there with Flames.
It's very, look at that bitch eating crackers. It's very what it is.
So, do you want to hear my medium movies, or
You do have bad movies?
you want to start with
We
that?
can do bad. Let's do bad movies first. I don't love this, but I have some things I can contribute. For instance, this is gonna get me like shadow banned, but I hated Turning Red, and we have so many people that
A lot
loved
of people
it.
love it. I didn't watch
Hated
it, and now I want to watch it to see.
It was like offensive to me in the way that it handled like the sexuality of a young girl and like the coming into like
So
a
let me
romantic
ask you.
relationship.
Let me ask you: is it from a place of it made you feel uncomfortable, or you thought it handled?
I thought it
badly?
handled it the absolute worst way you
people
can.
love it, but
that was not it for me.
I have 3 that I didn't, or actually, I guess just 2. I thought I had a third one. I have 2 that I didn't see, and for reason. I didn't see Elvis. I love Baz Luhrmann. I don't love Elvis. Like, I feel nothing to him.
Yeah.
And the trailers, I didn't like what they were presenting with Tom Hanks, and I wasn't interested.
So we watched Elvis. I would have loved it if the movie were about Elvis. I mean, it is about Elvis, obviously, but like not in the way that you'd think. And like I would have really preferred more of like a like Moulin Rouge, Great Gatsby type of.
Gatsby is my favorite Luhrmann.
And like it's not that. And it's like, but it does weirdly go to those places sometimes. Like there's a very eerily reminiscent of the like downtown party with Tom and Nick to like it wasn't Megan Thee Stallion, but it was like
it's Doja, isn't it?
Doja Cat, yeah. To a Doja Cat song while Elvis is like walking on Beale Street in Memphis, and it's sort of like, but that's like the only time that happens, and it was really bizarre. And the Tom Hanks of it all, I just like I wouldn't have minded that character, but I also sort of wanted the like psychedelic-y kind of Luhrmann-y, really fantastical, like into Elvis and like drugs and stuff, and it just didn't do.
I'm livid we never got Baz Luhrmann's Alexander the Great.
Fuck me, yeah.
It was Nicole Kidman and DiCaprio.
Because certainly Oliver Stone was not the right choice for that.
In my womb, I carried my adventure. I feel very Jennifer Lawrence Phantom Thread about it.
Yeah, I feel that as well.
And some of these things, some of these movies and TV shows where I'm like, I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm saying it's not for me. I've seen this show before and I didn't like the ending.
That's the only thing I'll say in its like total favor is that Olivia DeJonge, who was in The Society, she was the pretty one that was with the psycho, the pretty blonde one that was with the psycho. Yeah. She played Priscilla.
I'm gonna watch this goddamn movie.
And Austin Butler was absolutely
I like him.
Fantastic.
We watched him in 2 seasons of Shannara Chronicles.
We did. He was absolutely fantastic. I think it can't be overstated how fantastic he was. But it was like I wish that it had focused on their relationship more, because they have a beautiful scene together where like they're like exchanging Lisa Marie. They've already separated and they're exchanging her. And Priscilla gets in the car and she's like, I need you to go to this rehab basically for me. Like, I need you to do it. Will you please do it? And it's like one of the last times they saw each other, and it's just like heart wrenching. But it wasn't very good. I was captivated by his performance and very disappointed by the movie.
This is going to be so long.
Yeah.
We might have
We're going to have to. We'll see.
Break it up into best, medium, and worst. The other one I didn't see on principle was Jurassic World Dominion, and I gotta be honest, I wanted to. I wanted to see.
So bad.
Yeah. It's become a thing for me that I reject in media, and it's cruelty. It's meanness.
Yeah.
I don't like when things are mean. And
So
after Fallen Kingdom, it would take a lot to get me back in.
This one wasn't that. It wasn't cruel. Well, it was cruel to the legacy characters because they were useless. And it was like nothing but like, wink. Remember when Jeff Goldblum was in the first movie? Wink. Like, remember when they did this exact thing before?
I thought the volcano scene in Fallen Kingdom was so offensive that I'm just not going to. And on that note,
it was also just bad. And there also was just like, like what everybody's been doing, where there just sort of was like a Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk type character who it's just the wizard behind the curtain. It's all smoke and mirrors and like nothing's real. and I'm just bored. It's like the same with the Nazis and like everything. I'm just bored.
I just don't understand how they don't understand that the dinosaurs are the stars.
Victim? Oh, the stars?
Of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
no, I know that they're the victims, and that's what I don't like.
Yeah.
Another one on my worst, and I actually feel a little bit bad. Like, I feel like I'm kicking a movie when it's down, because it wasn't even putting up a fight. Firestarter was terrible. I watched
didn't watch that.
Yeah.
It's Zac Efron was the dad, right?
It tried really hard, and I kind of wanted to be on its side, and because it's the girl from American Horror Story double feature who was so good. Mm-hmm. And it was boring and again mean. They added a scene where she kills a cat. Like,
oh, I did watch Pet Sematary for the first time.
Oh.
The new one, not the old one, but I watched a version of Pet Sematary, and it was also mean and horrible.
And then I have to put this one in here because I cannot let this year pass without acknowledging it. Again, this feels mean of me to put it in the worst because it's just, I don't know, The King's Daughter.
Oh yeah, don't kick that. What was that? That like just languished in production hell for like 8 years.
We had so much fun tearing that movie apart.
Yeah.
But it was the mermaid movie we got this year.
It was not good. Definitely not good.
And then my tie, I have a tie for 1 and 2 for worst. We did a whole thing on Avatar.
I should have known. I hated it.
I did too. I didn't. I didn't hate it. But the thing for me, and it annoys me when I come down this way on a movie, because the fact that it's the biggest movie in the world isn't its responsibility, isn't its fault. And that factors into my not liking it.
It's not its fault. It's James Cameron's fault, who won't keep his goddamn mouth shut.
But it's like, if this was just a weird sci-fi movie that came out,
of course,
I think I mentioned Valerian, or like one of those weird Jupiter's Ascending type.
Yeah.
But again, those movies had joy. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Now you've said it.
And then what I will actually give my worst, I liked Avatar more than this, was Secrets of Dumbledore.
Oh yeah, no, real bad. Also mean.
Boffed.
Also so mean.
So mean.
That stupid little creature. That stupid dead zombie creature. Or
that we had to watch die how many times?
Like at least twice. So horrible.
And it's wandering around like it got hit in the head.
I hate it.
It's so bad that it's almost good. Like, it's almost funny.
Here's the thing, too, because that one, I will agree with you with that, because it actually...
And I was an apologist.
You were.
A Fantastic Beasts apologist.
100%. And the reason that I'll jump on that bandwagon with you is that it was, like, I'm so furious at how good Mads Mikkelsen was, and especially opposite Jude Law, that I'm like, first of all, we could have been having this the whole fucking time. Or we could have just, like, nutted up and kept Colin Farrell, who was extremely excellent the first time around. But then, even in addition to that, and all of the nasty, horrible behind-the-scenes crap, it's mean-spirited. There was, like, no fun times at all. It was, like, what it didn't make sense within the canon of Harry Potter.
Dan Murrell, Fantastic Beast, and How to Kill Them.
Yeah, it was just, yeah.
And remember it blowing, there was like a, what did they call it? Like a great Hoobawampus or something? They like were adding like a president of the Wizarding World. And they had TV screens and stuff.
Yeah.
And you
because, okay,
Poppy Corby Tukas Vinda.
I can't get into it, or this episode will be 7 hours long. But, like, the bureaucracy of Harry Potter is actually quite interesting. And the fact that they're just, like, in the past, before this was a thing, they have, like, a global overlord of wizarding politics is not correct. Moving on. I have some just, like, I guess honorable mentions. They're just, like, anything that I had that was after 10.
I have 9 medium movies.
Okay, I have 7.
So my number 9 is, with one exception, the MCU this year. It was fine.
Yeah.
I think
I have one MCU movie on my list.
I have one of mine too, and I think Wakanda Forever did a great job with what it had. I feel in a place of limbo with it. So I definitely want to honor it. I don't know that I'm going to watch it
consistently
the way that I watch.
It's no failing of the productions or anything. It's the same reason I have a really hard time going back to watch Heath Ledger movies. I have a really, and like this movie is an exercise in grief about grieving a real life man who also played a character. And that is really tough to consistently put yourself through, despite how excellent the movie was.
I'm in a place, and for me, I feel like it was excellent. They did the best that they could. That's where I'm at. Mm-hmm. And I'm also in a place where, depending on what they do with Black Panther / Wakanda / Namor, I could end up coming around, like deciding that I like this as a middle chapter.
Yeah.
But I feel very Last Jedi and or Empire Strikes Back, where I'm sort of like, well, now what?
Well, now what are we doing? Yeah.
You know?
I agree with that.
And so, depending on where we go, it could really solid it out for me. My number 8, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but it was Jackass.
I didn't watch that.
I mean, I was 14 in 1999. Mm-hmm. I kind of love these men. They did a lot for me. There were so many penises.
Well, Johnny Knoxville's not getting any uglier either.
There's just something to be said. The fact that they're still going.
Yeah.
And it was a
like,
little
how do any of them still have feeling in their testicles? I just feel like it's not realistic.
And it didn't quite do the full evolution, but it was just a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
In a way that it was nice to see.
Sure.
So, my number 7 was Don't Worry, Darling.
Mine too!
Really?
Yeah! That's my, like, bottom of my honorable mentions. I'm having a hard time lately in my life, when things get really messy behind the scenes. I have a really hard time divorcing it from the actual product. I'm trying my hardest. I'm having a really hard time. I ended up really, really, really liking Don't Worry, Darling. But it does just sort of have this, like, stink over it that I can't fully... Like, there's no reason why it should have been as much as it was.
So, absolutely. And in all honesty, having watched it twice, it completely falls to shambles in the end.
Kind of, yeah.
And I found so much of it so intriguing and kind of just, like, cool.
Yeah.
That even though I think it ultimately failed, I still appreciated the attempt. And
sure.
I just wish that the movie was about the dinner scene.
I will give you that as well. I've seen something going around, which I don't normally take into, like, huge account with stuff like this because it's very, like, it's a very chronically online take. But I have seen it multiple times where it's like, before the movie came out, and nobody, like, even the critics didn't really know what it was, like, about, or the, you know, twist at the end. Olivia Wilde was talking about how it's, like, this ode to female sexuality and, like, getting female sexual pleasure, like, told right and everything on screen. And then, spoiler alert, the end of the movie is, like, the opposite. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just sort of, like, that also kind of rubs me the wrong way the longer I think about it. I don't know. I am torn. I really enjoyed the visuals, obviously, and Florence Pugh can do no wrong, and I think Harry Styles held his own against her as much as he could. And then all of the, like, side characters were really good. I just think it was better than the backstage mess. Mm-hmm. So
mm-hmm. My 6 is actually Halloween Ends.
That's on my bad movie list.
Oh, you had your chance.
I did have my chance.
Well, similar to Don't Worry, Darling, I think there was an interesting movie in it if it was a different movie.
Sure.
And I wish it was
it split focus and it should have picked one.
I wish that it was just like I wish it wasn't purporting to be the closing chapter of, like, a quadrilogy.
No, it was 3.
Well, but Halloween.
Halloween, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, would that Halloween Kills was the end, and then this was, like, a weird spinoff, or would, like, a Haddonfield tale or something? Mm-hmm. Because I actually found the Corey Alley story compelling, and
I would have if it were in a different movie, like right. You said.
So that's where I wish that it wasn't burdened by being what it was, and it could have been this other legacy. Thing that it was.
100%. I agree with that.
My number 5 is Moonfall.
I didn't end up putting that. in my
it
list,
was
but
just silly. We had a lot of fun, and also one of the most fun movie experiences.
we were alone in the theater.
In a big theater.
A big theater, completely alone. We had our phones out the whole time. I was
We were
like live tweeting
talking,
it.
yeah.
It was comically hilarious. I loved it. It's so stupid, but I loved it. It was super fun.
I've got too much going on down here to worry about up there. Pretty soon, up there will be down here.
I've got too much to worry about down here to go up there. And she's like, pretty soon, up there is down here.
So stupid. I loved it.
My number 4 was Marry Me.
That was really cute. It ended up being really cute.
It was so much better than its own trailer.
Yeah.
Because the trailer is just, like, the trailer makes it look like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
But that's, like, weirdly kind of what the movie's about. Like, the movie is about overcoming the absurdity of its own premise.
Yeah. It's also just, like, a legit rom-com. Jennifer Lopez is legit in rom-coms. Like, just, let's keep trucking them out.
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I flat out liked it.
And I love Owen Wilson, so.
My number 3 was Death on the Nile.
You do enjoy a 2-star experience.
I'm going to take a nap.
No.
She's just amazing.
Also, I mean, not
that
for
fucking Cleopatra drag she was in.
Not for nothing. It was like an okay note for Armie Hammer to go out on. if we're doing that.
I'm so upset for so many reasons.
Me too.
Like,
Me too.
And it's just it truly the franchise was done in by its own.
Yeah.
Not even incompetence, really. I don't know.
Yeah.
There was, in fact, enough champagne to fill the Nile.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that. My number 2, and this pains me. This was almost at my best. It pains me to say this, but I liked the Batman.
Oh no, that's fine.
I was so against it.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I know, but I think it's fine.
I liked it. I don't know. I was like, it was good.
Very Joey eating the trifle.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
And then my number 1, also close to being in my top list. Netflix's Do Revenge.
Also very good.
I think it was Books of Butterflies wanted us to watch it. We did. We never ended up getting around to talking about it.
But it's a really good send up and homage to all of the teen movies from our generation. Maya Hawke is incredible. Austin Abrams is like so despicable. Camila Mendes is also fantastic. Just all around. And it works.
Sophie Turner. I don't do cocaine! I don't know what it looks like!
I don't do cocaine!
I don't even know what it looks like.
I don't know what it looks like!
Very good. Sophie Turner, when did you get here? No, it was really, really, really good. I'm like, and we've also been having like a lot of conversations in the media about Nepo babies recently. And my deal with the Nepo babies is...
Oh, you caught up with society for 10,000 years?
Yeah.
the offspring of well-off people?
Yeah. My thing too is like, as long as you can like back it up with shit, I don't care. Just do it. And so it's like, I saw somewhere that like George Clooney was on that list and I was like, he has a 40-year career that proves he's worth a damn. Like, I don't care. And I think Maya Hawke is doing it. I think she is proving that she can be where she is.
Well, I saw it was like an Onion or The Onion, what is it, 2008? I saw a satire like headline and it was like studio orders 2 more children from Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke.
We should be so lucky.
No, I thought it was funny. I thought it was gay. I thought it was colorful.
Yeah.
I liked, and frankly, because I mean, the cocaine line steals the show.
Well, and it did give Camila Mendes something worthwhile and interesting to do, which Riverdale hasn't done in 5 years.
But also Camilla's like, I'm
shocked.
And what was it was like the cis hetero male men in defense of
women or something,
female presenting women league or something.
It was very silly.
So yeah, those are my medium.
So the rest of my honorable mentions, we had Don't Worry Darling both at 7. We watched that BJ Novak movie Vengeance. and I kind of haven't been able to stop thinking about it, specifically Ashton Kutcher's character, which is a weird sentence that I said in the year 2022. It was really good. Also, Dove Cameron is in it. She's pretty funny. It was really good. I just kind of straight up liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And it's like kind of a sort of like a meditation on like the missing white girl syndrome and stuff. And like, I don't know. I had a good time with it. I thought BJ Novak did a good job. I liked it. My number 5 is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. That made me feel my feelings. It was so cute. Me and Rachel saw it. It was adorable. It's like weird. It's like cute for a long time. And then it is weirdly a full blown meditation on grief from a little shell that's like this big. And it like absolutely wrecked me by the end of it. My number 4 is Fresh. This is my list this year is big on horror.
Mine is too. This was a good year for horror.
I had a really, really hard time when I started picking my movies for this year because I was disappointed with movies this year in like a general sense. And then I started like looking at it and I was like, no, it's just that I really liked all the horror movies, which is so weird for me. So I really liked Fresh. It's not one that I could like watch over and over and over again because it's like really sort of horrible. But Sebastian Stan is great. Daisy Edgar Jones is great. She's having a whole moment and she was really great. And all of it, I really liked it. My number 3 was Black Panther Wakanda Forever because that's the only Marvel movie that made my list. I've got shows, but that's the only movie that made my list. And I think it was, like you said, I think it was good and I think they did what they could, but it was also the Marvel movie that impressed me the most this year, like overall. And my number 2, I have a rom-com too, but it's different. It's The Lost City with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum. I've seen it, I think 3 times now. I just think it's nice. Just think it's neat. I liked it. It was really cute. And then my number 1 was Enola Holmes 2. I stuck that in here because I'm just such a sucker. I love Enola Holmes. I think it's so cute. I love how they deepened the relationship with Sherlock. I like how they deepened the relationship with Tewksbury. I like how they introduced Moriarty. I had a really good time watching it. And we watched it again with Will's parents, and I thought it was just as cute.
I have 11. So my 11, I feel so weird about the fact that it's 11. I think it's the best movie of the year.
Okay.
It's just for my own personal vibes, it's not my favorite movie of the year.
Okay.
It's Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, okay.
I'm rooting for it.
Yeah.
I hope it wins.
Yeah.
I hope she wins. Like, I'm all there. I think one of the things for me that prevents me from being whole hog up for it from the personal deep within inside me is that there's a like cluttered quality to it that pings my anxiety.
Oh, I mean, it's on purpose for sure. But that makes sense. That makes sense for you.
I think it, like I said, I think it's the best movie of the year, and I'm completely in its corner.
Yeah.
It's just for my personal preference, not my number
fine.
1. And then number 10, you know, at this point, some of the rankings get arbitrary, as we've said many, many times. In a general sense, the ones at the top we like better than the ones at the bottom.
Mhm.
But I had a really good time with Bros. I think, I think it really peaks in the first 30 or 40 minutes. It ended up not being what I was afraid it was going to be. I was afraid it was going to be Billy Eichner lecturing me on how to be the right kind of gay.
Sure.
And the first 30 to 40 minutes spend a lot of time very freshly commenting on that in a way that I needed.
Yeah. I'm with you though. Like at a certain point, it does get kind of cyclical where he says the same thing to I don't remember his name, the other guy, multiple times where he's just like, I know that I'm like not the kind of guy, like I'm not handsome enough or whatever. And I was like, dude, like please, like you're good.
The second he like opened up with like the sixth brick at Stonewall, I like breathed a sigh of relief, and I was like, and then they trot out Kristen Chenoweth with like a house on her head or something, a rainbow. I don't remember,
ridiculous.
but I was relieved.
Yeah.
And all the scenes of the like museum board are fighting with each other over who was more gay.
And which group of gays was more oppressed. Yeah.
That was my 11 and 10.
So my number 10 is a movie called Cha-Cha Real Smooth with Dakota Johnson.
Did you get to it?
It was shockingly poignant and like beautiful. And it basically is about this guy who's he's young. He's meant to be like 10 years younger than her. And he starts being like a bar mitzvah hype man. But like she has an autistic daughter that she wants to get like a little more like involved in like the kids or whatever. And so he starts watching the daughter like for her, like babysitting and stuff. It was fantastic. And it's another one that I kind of haven't stopped thinking about since we watched it. It's really good. It's really like kind of melancholy towards the end, and it's like poignant, and it's just really nice. I really liked it a lot. And Dakota Johnson is fantastic. Talk about another Nepo baby.
I love Hailey Bieber is just wearing it. Like her shirt just says Nepo baby.
Does it?
And she's like,
yeah.
I've never given 2 fucks about her. And I was like,
own it.
Snap, Kirby, bitch. My number 9, again, this feels somewhat arbitrary, but it's The Northman.
Oh, okay. That's not on my list at all. I couldn't watch that again if you paid me.
It takes
It
takes the Green Knight slot, where it was something weird and avant-garde and Bjork, and there was a Valkyrie.
It's as weird as Alexander Skarsgård is sexy.
Yeah, I just sort of enjoyed watching something that, like, because I love superhero movies. I can't even tell you how much money I have devoted to superhero movies in here.
You can't even see Robin with the nipples over there.
Batman and Robin. But having said that, it is nice to see something that's not a superhero movie or a franchise cash grab. Sure. And it paid the price for not being that.
It did. It did indeed. My number 9 is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Is that your number 8?
I showed my hand.
Yeah.
When I said Bodies to Northman.
I fucking loved it. We did a reaction. If you want to go back and watch us, you can watch us react to the whole thing. I just like kind of from start to finish. And it was so like quotable and kind of weird. And like the
Rachel
Sennett.
Your parents are upper middle class.
It's very, you're a virgin who can't drive. It was so perfect. I loved.
You're such a fucking bitch!
Yeah. I loved, it wasn't really a twist, but I love the information that you gather as it goes about the deaths and everything. I just, 2 thumbs up. I thought it was so fun and good, and that's the first horror movie that's on my, like, official list, but it's not the last.
So it was my 8.
Yeah. My 8 is the Bob's Burgers movie. I love it. I love Bob's Burgers.
How many times have you watched it? Just twice?
4. I think 4. If you are a longtime viewer, you know that that's my favorite show. It's like what I fall asleep to every night. It's what I put on just for noise when I just need noise. I thought the movie did a really excellent job of like making, like going bigger than the show, but like keeping to the core, like emotional aspects of it. And I love the more we find out about Bob's mother, because there's a little bit more of it in the season that's currently airing. That's like why it's not higher, is because I do think it stumbled in a couple places. I think it should have landed that emotional beat about Bob's mother and Louise having never been able to meet each other a little bit harder. But other than that, I just thought it was fantastic. And it also heavily showcased Mr. Fischoeder, who's like one of my favorite characters. So I was super into it.
My number 7 was Lost City.
Okay.
I just sort of want, like, again...
So charming.
It's so funny that it is essentially, like, a retread. Like, Romancing the Stone, like, the 80s adventure romance comedy. Like,
yeah, but you just put Sandra Bullock in anything, it's like printing money.
But I didn't finish that. I was like, it's so funny that it is a retread, and yet it felt so fresh.
It did. Yeah, it was quite good. I liked it a lot.
I'm just such a low-key Channing Tatum stan.
Yeah.
I love him so much, considering how medium I feel about him. I
think he's really, really good, especially when he focuses on comedy, which this largely did.
I mean, Linda Holmes compared him to Cary Grant in this movie. Was it Cary Grant? Did Cary Grant dance?
No. Gene Kelly? Yeah.
Linda Holmes compared him to someone very good in this movie.
Yeah, okay. I mean...
He said he has, like, a physicality.
Yes, he does.
Classic Hollywood was known for.
Sure. I'll give him that.
It just, like, yeah.
Stay tuned for Magic Mike XXX or whatever it's called.
With Selma Hayek.
Yeah.
And it there's so many places where it went the extra mile.
Oh, well, I mean, like, the Daniel Radcliffe villain already.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Her pink jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Bowen Yang.
All of it. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's the little things, because obviously you put Sandra Bullock on screen with anybody who is like halfway attractive, and it's going to be incredible chemistry, sparks flying everywhere.
She's also one of the last remaining
like
movie
a movie
stars.
star. Although I will say, I watched the Julia Roberts and George Clooney movie Ticket to Paradise, and I felt similarly. Like having the two of them on screen together is like electric. It was fun. Thank you for the Lost City. What, 7?
Mm-hmm.
X. I fucking loved X. It's just sort of a standard slasher movie until you get to the end, and then you realize it's like a trilogy. It's like chronologically the middle part of a trilogy, but the beginning of the story.
It's also a slasher movie in like, I don't know that I would go as far as say in a thoughtful way.
No, it kind of is.
But the way that they behave and the ways that they're killed feels slightly subversive.
A little. And also it didn't, as a horror movie, it also didn't feel mean. Which I have a huge problem with.
Considering it's a slasher.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed. I mean, couldn't be more of a me take, but I was really impressed with Brittany Snow in it.
Mm-hmm.
And as mentioned, I will go ahead and say it now, but to my understanding, it's the first time she's ever been nude on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really interesting that the first time she's ever been nude on camera is this late in her career.
Yeah.
And what on the surface feels like it would be really trite. Like really
but it's not.
She's like this weird den mother character.
It's really fantastic because she is sort of like a slightly past her prime porn star. And I love that. And so I will also say, like, at this point,
she sings Landslide in the middle of the movie.
I mean, and it's beautiful. At this point, it's really old hat for the two of us to be like, you know who was really good in this movie? Brittany Snow. You know who was really good in this movie? Mia Goth. You know who was really good in this movie? Jenna Ortega. But it's like, they were all really good.
Well, and what's his face? Martin Henderson? Is that?
Yeah.
The older?
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember.
I kind of love him. He's the hot guy from the Toxic music video.
Yeah, Martin Henderson. Mm-hmm.
And
also just throw Kid Cudi in there. Why not? Yeah, I don't know. I loved it. I think it's great. I think it's like I'm so excited to see Maxine. I think it's coming out this year. I'm just really Ty West. I think is like really going to be an interesting name going forward for sure.
You know, no, I'm not. I was going to say I'm embarrassed by this, and I'm not. I'm fucking proud of it. I liked Thor: Love and Thunder.
That's fine.
I'm a Thor whore. We're called Thors.
I liked it a lot. I really did like it a lot.
That is a hot take.
No,
I don't. My biggest critique from it is it wasn't enough. I wanted more. I think when we did our episode, I was like, I liked it so much, I'd like to see the rest of it.
Yeah.
And Natalie Portman is something very specific to me and also any millennial boy.
Natalie Portman is something that can be so personal. It is. She really is.
And there's just, I'm a low-key Jane stan.
Name? He said it was Thor?
Oh, yeah. I love
I've never fully been on her side.
She got completely railroaded in the second one.
Yeah,
so.
But it's like there's just something about it, and I think her Mighty Thor, I love that she was kind of a doofus. I adored the way it filled it sort of back not backpedals.
Backfilled.
Backfilled their relationship and what happened, and
that montage of them like being together.
I thought it was so good.
Really good.
I mean, I'm so glad that it Blink and You Miss It brought Sif back, but that she is back and in play.
Yeah.
Without
Agreed.
her arm. I want more gods. I cannot believe there was a character called Gore the God Killer, the God Butcher, and there weren't more gods. I found out Lena Headey, who was in the movie and her scene was cut, she was the Valkyrie Queen.
I'm so angry now. What the fuck?
Taika! I also will never forgive them for not having either Freya or Aphrodite in a movie called Thor: Love and Thunder,
Yeah.
where they go to
Essentially
Omnipotent City.
Olympus, yeah.
And I think that was how I would fix the movie, is I think they needed to stay there overnight.
Mhm.
And I think Aphrodite should have attempted to seduce Thor.
Yeah.
And I think that should have further put a wedge between Jane and Thor
Sure.
in their, like, kind of like, how do we address the elephant in the room?
Yeah.
And I think the punchline should have been that ultimately Valkyrie bangs Aphrodite. That's just
Yeah.
that's just what I would have done with it. If I'm making you so, it's now going on your worst list.
Now I'm just like, I've got 3 Taika shows on my TV list, and now I'm pissed about it.
I don't know. I've watched it 4 times, and
Yeah.
I want more.
Yeah. I'm on your team.
So
6. My number 6 is something I watched within the last week. It's a Korean movie called Decision to Leave. It was bonkers and so cool and so weird. And I'm going to compare it to another movie that you've never heard of, but maybe someone out there has. When I was in college and a lot more pretentious, I watched a French movie with Marion Cotillard that was like before she got even Big Fish. It was like in France. And it's the English title is Love Me If You Dare. And all I'll say is that the ending of Decision to Leave vibes very strongly with the ending to Love Me If You Dare in a way that I don't want to spoil. But it is a really interesting and like bonkers, emotional and like really strange and really upsetting romance kind of between these two characters. But it was similar to a movie that I saw last year that I don't remember which one it was now, but it was The Power of the Dog, where it's like once you get to the ending, the like last scene, it earns the entire thing retroactively in like the best way. And I really liked it, and I also can't stop thinking about it, especially the ending. It's really good.
I have a 1-2 punch for 5. What?
I think I know what it is. Go.
X.
Yeah.
And Pearl.
Yeah.
I really, really dug it. Like,
Yeah.
I just really loved it. I was singling out a few lines. I love the line in X when Brittany Snow was talking to Jenna Ortega. So, yeah, Brittany Snow says, so do you help him with all of his films? And she goes, sometimes, yeah. And then Jenna Ortega's talking about Kid Cudi, and she's like, so is he your boyfriend? And Brittany Snow goes, sometimes, yeah.
It's very funny. It's like, that's the other thing is like, they're both really clever. I think X is funnier than Pearl. Like, there's jokes in it. It's like from the 70s. It's like a little more modern, and it doesn't have like a hateful German mother. But I think those lines and stuff, and it's just like a little quippier and a little more cutting.
Mm-hmm. I loved Pearl. It was kind of like a religious experience for me. It was so weirdly colorful, and it plays like an old-timey movie. I love the allusions to Wizard of Oz, and am so, so grateful that they are not heavy-handed. Like, the Scarecrow is the single most heavy-handed.
And it's not that bad.
I loved it. I love that it takes place during the pandemic, the
Spanish flu.
And so many, because I watch a lot of reactors, it's blowing their minds. They think it's some weird incongruity, or like they don't understand that this is.
I can't even say, did you not go to school? Because the American education system is fucked, but
the way that you sort of vacillate in the movie, whose side you're on, because I went back and forth.
Yeah.
And by the time that we get to the mother's last scene, I'll go with, I was kind of like, I don't know. Maybe I'm on her side. I think it's so funny. I think the way that she plays Pearl, I think honestly, my favorite part about it is that you don't realize you're in too deep until it's too late.
Yeah.
Like, you feel like you can handle her. I mean, what is she, 98 pounds?
Yeah.
Like, it's this tiny little girl, and just how unhinged she is. The cut to her crying after the audition.
Yeah.
Is like, it's like shocking.
Well, and especially like after you watch Pearl and you think back to X and you're like, he did just stay with her.
Yeah.
Their whole lives. You're like, ah!
That kind of stuff fascinates me. And I think that there's an authenticity to it.
Yeah, 100%.
In a way that I think we're like, and it's like, no. Also, Emma Jenkins Burrow, her friend.
Yeah.
She was so pretty. She was so good. That fucking monologue that Mia Goth does is so good.
It's so good.
It is all Mia Goth. But my favorite is the entire, and it's like, what, 2 minutes?
It's like 6 minutes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Minutes go. And the entire time in the back of your head, you're like, what is Emma thinking?
Yeah.
What is Emma doing? Where, like, is she even, and I'm like, is she even still there?
Yeah.
Like,
is she not just like,
and the way that they just cut back to her.
I should probably get going now.
Yeah. It's really good.
I was very wowed by it. I want to go on record that I think that is the same alligator.
Sure.
So many people are like, oh, it's like family. And I'm like, no, I think alligators, they don't.
They can live a long time.
Yeah. They don't die of natural causes. Like, it's this weird, I don't know that I said that quite right, but it's like they don't die of old age.
What are they, like elves? It's only like battle or a broken heart?
Kind of.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate everything about that.
Kind of. Like one of my favorite videos I've ever seen is of like 3 alligators that are going to eat something, and one of them grabs the other one's arm and does the barrel roll, rips the arm clean out of the socket. They don't flinch.
It's horrible.
They just keep going. Like,
I don't like it.
So I loved Pearl.
Yeah. My number 5 is The Menu. We just watched it the other night.
It's a little polarizing
Fucking
for
fantastic.
people. Really? Okay.
It is fantastic. Like weirdly excellent role from Ralph Fiennes, who I have not been digging completely the last like 10 years or so. Anya Taylor-Joy is a revelation as always. It also, John Leguizamo is in it. Judith Light is in it. But for me, the highlight of this movie in the worst way is Nick Holt. He is such a character.
I actually know nothing about it.
I don't want to keep talking about it because I don't want to like give anything away, but like his character is repugnant. It is so funny watching him be the way he is in this movie. It's so fantastic.
And I'm going to assume he's repugnant in a different way than Henry or
yeah, because that's charming.
Yeah.
That's like charming and like sexy.
Which one is he?
Alexander. Oh no, Peter.
Right.
Yeah. It also is another one, which is a thing that's been going a lot this year for me, where like the whole thing is really good, but it's like the end, like the last handful of scenes are, I think, what makes the whole thing like worth the time. 10 out of 10. No notes. Very good.
My number 4 is Nope.
Me too! Oh. I love it when we line up by accident.
That was very Romeo Michelle. Oh my god! I was really compelled by it. At this point, Jordan Peele is giving me very Rian Johnson, where I know to expect a lot, and I do, and yet I'm still sort of taken aback by it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still sort of like, huh. And I heard a lot of talk about it because the mainstream, like the masses, didn't fully get it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't fully get it. Do you know what I like? I'm like, well, who can really get anything? White Lotus. Daphne, can you really know another person? Yeah. But it's true. Snap, snap. But there was something about following the movie.
Yeah.
Where I was sort of like, am I crazy or is this making sense?
It makes sense.
And that sort of like, and the way that it makes you sort of feel uncomfortable and the way that it sort of makes you think.
Yeah.
And the way that you're like, is this about like animals
is
and
this
also
fucking play about us?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I was really, and it's like, it's disturbing, but in ways that catch you off guard. And because it has probably one of the most disturbing scenes in a movie, but you don't fully know that when it's happening.
100%.
It's only disturbing in hindsight.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I don't know. I was really, I think Daniel and Kiki and who was Angel? That piece?
I don't remember his name. A piece is correct. He's so hot. I don't remember his name. Brandon Perea.
Perea. Oh, yeah.
And Steven Yeun.
Steven Yeun, weird cameo from Barbie Ferreira, weird cameo from Donna Mills. Like, I don't know. I feel like it would be such an honor to get to play the terrible white woman in a Jordan Peele movie.
Sure.
Donna Mills, Allison Williams, Elizabeth Moss.
Yeah.
Like,
let's keep going. Who's next?
So yeah, that's
both our number 4s. So yeah.
My number 3 was Scream 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I loved it.
It was good. It was actually like horrifying.
It was.
Yeah. Really, really intense.
I never fully, because we in many ways grew up with the Scream franchise.
Yeah.
It was hard to look at it objectively, and I never fully processed that the first one is brutal and scary and horrific.
Yeah.
And 2 and 3 are meta commentaries and comedies. I mean, the first one's definitely meta and a commentary, but it is a slasher movie.
Yeah.
And the fourth one goes back to those roots. I think any Scream movie is a good Scream movie. I think the fourth one is maybe the most inconsistent for me.
Sure. That's fine.
But I was very wowed by 5.
Yeah.
And I was very wowed by the freshness, the subversion, the new crop of kids. R.I.P. Judy.
Yeah.
Gone too soon. Sorry if that's a spoiler. But I just but also good. Like
yeah.
I'm really proud of her.
Let's more spoilers. Let's pour one out for Dewey and crack open a cold one for Kirby.
Yeah.
For the 6th one.
It was so fun for me.
Yeah.
And the scene with Jenna Ortega in the hospital in the wheelchair,
nauseating.
I have never. But it's like I have a very, very trepidation. I don't love body horror, but I can if done well. Yeah. And it goes up there for me with Ready or Not, Perfect Getaway.
Yeah.
There's like a handful of body horror things that
Absolutely.
It's just because I'm invested, because it's not gratuitous, it's not shock value. It's sort of this weird, brutal reminder of like reality
and how fragile we are.
Yeah.
I will also say I think that the 5th one has the most kinship with the first one. I think they feel the most like
the reveal
genetically.
of Stu's house. I loved it. I genuinely loved it.
Yeah.
Jenna Ortega, this is her year.
Oh yeah.
Like the power that she has.
It's unmatched.
She's so compelling. I mean,
fantastic.
We felt that in You season 2.
Yeah.
Like
she's fantastic. My number 3, which we've already talked about, is Pearl. Loved it. Everything about it. It's so beautiful to look at.
Also gave us David Cornsweet again. Sweet on that corn.
Don't even get me started. He's so handsome. And I do love that when in the barn scene, when she starts going crazy on him and she's like, why don't you like me? And he's like, I do like you, but you're nuts. Like,
the
you're
dog?
totally
what
nuts.
Dog?
Yeah.
Bitch, you just.
I mean, absolutely. And I can't talk enough about Mia Goth. She is like, just out of this world. And I haven't been overly familiar with her for like a long time, but like ever since Autumn to Wild's Emma,
it's Suspiria.
I'm here for it.
Or did you block?
She's the one that gets all bent to pieces. I can't. I hate it. I think Suspiria is a good movie, but I can't.
My number 2, and for a long time was my number 1, is Fresh.
Oh, okay.
I've watched it like 5 times.
Really?
Loved it.
Okay.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because I hate what it's about.
Yes, of course.
I do. I hate human trafficking and kidnapping and
cannibalism.
I mean,
if we're breaking one social moray, what's another?
I'll go for a little long pig once in a while, but
I hate that it's called that.
I despise snuff, like torture porn, all that. But the fact that it's that while being fresh, that it's colorful, that it's kind of funny, they are so well matched.
Yeah.
I love Sebastian Stan. I love his like dancing and like just their relationship. I find it so interesting, the implications of his wife, and like, I don't know, I like that you can go a full half hour before you get to that. Like, you forget what the movie's about. That's how I've seen it so many times as I've shown it to people.
Oh, okay.
I've told them, you want to watch a scary movie? And they go, what do you mean? I was like, well, it's scary and funny. But they forget.
Yeah.
They think it's a rom-com.
Also, the Brett Deer cameo at the beginning.
We should do this again sometime.
Yeah, look, Chad,
Yeah.
I don't think we're really a match, you know?
Wow. I was literally just being polite. You're not even my type, to be honest, so.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny? That's hilarious? Yeah.
Ooh,
Okay. Good luck finding a guy, you stuck-up bitch.
Fuck.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Okay, my number 2, which I assume is your number 1, is Glass Onion. Yeah. I absolutely loved it. I think it is absolutely as good as Knives Out. I think the cast is fantastic.
And different.
And
like,
different.
Like it feels...
of a piece. It like
They feel like cousins.
It's in the same universe, for sure. I think Daniel Craig is just like, I love this for him post James Bond. I'm so into this for him post James Bond. I'm like happy for him, like good for you. And then I liked all the characters. I thought they were funny and also like horrible, and Janelle Monáe was fantastic.
But there's so many, because I have watched it 3.5 times. I know I've watched a lot of videos about it. There's like so many ways to know what is happening.
Oh yeah.
Like there's so many tells, but they're little. And from the title alone, from the concept of a glass onion, all of the is it misnomers? Is that what you call misnomers? Where like Miles kept saying something wrong.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Imbreathiate.
But that alone, I clocked it.
Yeah.
But not where I remember sitting in the chair in the theater thinking,
I just thought it was like kind of a weird tick or like an inside joke from them or something.
No, I just was like, that was odd, because I don't think, but also I know better than to question.
Yeah.
And then when Benoit goes, he was like, and then I come back to it. Abbreviate.
Yeah.
It's just not a word.
I also
And the other one I clocked was the Gillian Flynn. And I was like, that's weird that made it through production. I was like, that feels sloppy, like intentionally.
Yeah. But the fact that he would have paid her that much money and then still not learned how to pronounce her name is hysterical to me. I also love how frustrated Benoit was especially once you get to the actual like reveal of the whole thing, where he's like, it's just stupid, and he's like so mad that it took him so long because it's dumb.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's why he couldn't.
Because he like makes the comment about being bad at Clue, because he's like, I'm terrible at dumb things, and then it's like until you get to the end and he's like, it's just so dumb, and it's like, that's why he couldn't solve it.
It's just what the movie's about, because when people reach a certain echelon, you sort of, it goes without question that you're like, well, they're smarter than me, so I'm not even going to attempt to decode this. And then you realize, like, but even that, I mean, the whole opening montage, and then just cutting to Janelle Monáe smashing the box
with
open.
A hammer.
There's just so many.
Smash it with a hammer.
Because my favorite was,
like Miles said, I'm a truth teller. Some people can't handle it.
It's a dangerous thing to mistake speaking without thought for speaking the truth. Don't you think?
Are you calling me dangerous?
She was
so clueless.
Funny.
She's fantastic in this. And I mentioned it when we were talking about stuff out there for a little bit, but my favorite moment from her in this movie is actually a moment where she's being, I think, the most herself that she is in the whole movie, when she's sitting by the pool and she's talking to Peg and she's looking at Miles, who's talking to Whiskey. And she's like, he used to look at me like that. And he couldn't believe, because I was a model and he was nobody. And he couldn't believe that I was talking to him. And she was like, he was just this little thing in my hand that I could like do whatever I wanted with. And then she just goes,
I preferred that.
and there's just, and having watched it like 4 times now as well, there's something so vulnerable about that moment in a way that she's not vulnerable the rest of the time. Even when like the shit starts hitting the fan and she's like screaming, she's still performing. But in this moment with Peg, who she does not consider a person, she is her truest self in that exact moment. And
but she's still, I love the way that she fawns on him.
Yeah.
Like on Miles, the way that she like is sort of like clinging to him and like, it's so, also I'm going to be brave and say he was hot in the flashback with the Tom Cruise hair.
Apparently he did that without Rian Johnson's knowledge. He went by himself to the costume designer and was like, I want to do this.
I didn't get a response. I tweeted Rian Johnson to see if Benoit was intentionally styled after Dr. Ellie Statler in the beginning. It's color blocked the same way.
Maybe.
I couldn't think. I do want to say a shocking take from the two of us, but I thought Madeline was fantastic.
She was really good.
I thought, considering she's the fresh meat, I thought she really made a splash.
She's got 2 seasons of Outer Banks under her belt.
I love her. Sorry, feminist. So fucking funny. And
my favorite thing from her is when she is walking along with Janelle Monáe.
And then her scene with Janelle Monáe.
And she goes, I mean, I don't know if I want to, like, he's getting way more into, like, the MRA stuff, and, like, I don't know if I really want to do that, because what if I want to get into politics? And she goes, I mean, it's, like, expeditious, but, like, at what cost? Basically, it's so fucking funny.
That she's the one of them that's not an idiot.
It's so fucking funny.
And that, I love that Helen clocks that.
Yeah.
And that they actually have a real conversation in the middle of this cavalcade of stupidity.
And then it's also, like, without giving away, like, too much, but towards the end when she starts like throwing stuff on the ground, and then it just cuts to Whiskey and she's like, yeah. She's like, hell yeah. And she's just so excited about it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. So that was your number 1? My number 1 is Everything Everywhere All at Once. I haven't stopped thinking about it since we saw it. I love everything about it. It did a lot of like mom and daughter stuff for me, especially the scene with the rocks. It was just really stunning and beautiful. I loved all of the other, because there were like three or so like main alternate like dimensions or whatever. So the one with the hot dog fingers, and then the Wong Kar-wai like In the Mood for Love
that is
universe.
My favorite. The In Another Life, I would have loved to do nothing but
Laundry and Taxes with You.
And they're both so beautiful.
尽管离家让我心碎，我想告诉你，如果有来生，我还是会选择和你一起报税、开洗衣店。
I can't even like vocalize what a beautiful sentiment that is and how romantic it is. It sounds like something so ridiculous, but it's so beautiful and it's so lovely. And Ke Huy Quan like delivers it so perfectly, and he's so sexy in the like Tony Leung
what
like,
a victory
cosplay.
lap.
Completely fuck off. It's so fantastic. Michelle Yeoh and Stephanie Sue as well are both just absolutely out of this world in the whole movie. And I also...
And such crucial assists from Jamie Lee Curtis and Jenny Slate and like...
Fucking Jenny Slate. I forgot about Jenny Slate. I just, like, everything about it, I think was so perfect, and it kind of came so out of nowhere with how good it was and like how much I appreciated everything about it. And I love that basically the like moral of it is you just have to be a little silly. You just have to approach things with a little bit of silliness and a little bit of whimsy, because otherwise you are just doing laundry and taxes. And it's like, if you don't put googly eyes on something, you're gonna go fucking crazy.
This blew my mind. It is the most basic, most like aphorism bullshit, live, laugh, love thing ever. But there are 2 rules in life.
Yeah.
Don't be shitty and have fun.
That's literally it. I just like, and I love that that's just the sort of moral of this movie. And then again, like I said, the mother-daughter stuff really was like a total punch to the gut. And I just love, though, the way that it ends.
Also, want to talk about cinema. What did they make that thing for $10?
Yeah.
The amount of cinema, of film movie Academy Award quality visual special effects they do in that movie that amounts to Michelle Yeoh in a computer chair with screens next to her.
$25 million.
Like, that's actually more than I thought, to be honest.
But it is kind of like, it's like, I mean, it's peanuts compared to, Black Panther or Thor. If there's any justice in the world, Michelle Yeoh will get an Oscar for this movie. I was blown away completely. And it was relatively early in the year, so I've been thinking about it for like 10 months. So it's just, that's where I've been at. So that is
also
it.
That score, man.
Whew. Oh, it's stunning.
Sunlux.
Yeah, it's so good.
Whew.
Beautiful. Everything about it.
We should have brought in Rachel's Auditor of the Year.
Oh my God, yeah, we do have a real big...
I don't know, YouTube might not have let us
display
the Auditor of the Year.
A huge butt plug candle.
Okay. That was our movies of the year.
Yep.
So yeah, let us know what you think. And
what were your favorite movies of the year?
And hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you enjoyed the year, us, and hopefully you will continue to enjoy. Please like and subscribe. We have a Cashapp, a Venmo, a Patreon, all of that stuff. Yeah.
And we'll be back with TV.
Or aren't you glad
you have already watched TV?
And now you're done. Now you can know a moment's peace.
Bye.